Let's go. Right, yeah. So, we've just done the recording for part 2, for those who might be watching. Jake hadn't seen the America Ferrera monologue from Barbie, and so I've sent him the link. Nina's had to dash off for lunch, unfortunately, but I've sent him the
Yeah.
link because I think it's really important that he watches it, and I want to get his live reaction to it. So, Jake, let us know when you've got it.
It is literally impossible to be a woman. You are so beautiful and so smart, and it kills me that you don't think you're good enough. Like, we have to always be extraordinary. But somehow we're always doing it wrong. You have to.
I think it's like initially there when you were talking about in the episode about being a woman is like this constant battle of opposing things. A friend that I have in South Africa, she was saying that there's so much self-awareness that comes from being a woman. You're not even just talking about like safety in the street or anything like that. It's just you're constantly aware that you're being judged and like being looked at. Which as a man, like generally don't feel like, even if it's just walking home on the street or being in the office and stuff, it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this and like make this better, that kind of stuff. But like for a woman, it's always like I'm always being perceived. And when she kind of said like it's extraordinarily difficult to be extraordinary all the time, I think that's kind
You're
of
just doing
what
it
it is.
wrong. It doesn't matter what you do, it's just wrong.
Yeah, that's what I thought from that.
You have to be thin, but not too thin.
Yeah, here
and
we
you
go.
can never say you want to be thin. You have to say you want to be healthy, but also you have to be thin. You have to have money, but you can't ask for money because that's crass. You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. You have to lead, but you can't squash other people's ideas. You're supposed to love being a mother, but don't talk about your kids all the damn time. You have to be a career woman, but also always be looking out for other people. You have to answer for men's bad behavior, which is insane, but if you point that out, you're accused of complaining.
Yeah, like in one of my friends that I met in Brazil, she is like a chief commercial officer. Really, really cool job. She's really young in the C-suite.
Chief commercial officer, like, yeah, they're just like, really chill COO job, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But like, it's what's interesting is the way that she got up in her career, she had to be way more aggressive than the men because of like the disadvantages and the prejudgments they have. So the way that she's talking about like you have to answer for like other men's like issues and stuff. Like for sure, I think that applies best in the corporate world. And being a career woman, she was like, even other women I had to be super mean to. There's also competitiveness against women as well as it is against men. But the point is to get to her level that she had to be more extreme than the men who were already on destined to get into that level.
It's all performative. It's completely, because for a woman, it doesn't come naturally to step on other people. To be successful is to still remain within some sort of community and to have a support network. That's what like the natural, I think the natural position for, well, I think it should be for everyone, but it tends to be women. That's what a matriarchal society would look like. Like, it wouldn't be about climbing and getting on top of each other. It would be about how do we lift everyone up at the same time. But yeah, to get to a position in a male dominant or patriarchal system, whether that's career-based or community-based, you literally have to be mean and step on top of other people. That is the only way to kind of achieve in that particular environment. But anyway, please carry
It's
on.
like,
This is where I don't want to stop. I don't want to.
Okay. Yeah, it's like to make a change or make a difference, you have to be an extreme outlier. I think that's the same with any societal change. So I think at this stage, women have to be extreme outliers, which is probably where this whole but I can see where like the resentment builds within the patriarchy because of just constant competing opposites that you have to be at the same time in order to navigate the patriarchy and change the patriarchy at the same time.
Oh, it's impossible.
Master it and challenge it. It's a huge like oxymoronic relationship.
Completely, yeah.
supposed to stay pretty for men, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much or that you threaten other women, because you're supposed to be a part of the sisterhood, but always stand out and always be grateful. But never forget that the system is rigged, so find a way to acknowledge that, but also always be grateful.
Sorry, just to pause here. She mentioned about how other women react to your beauty. Could you explain that? Like, what does that mean? Like, it seemed like don't be too beautiful so you get attracted by men and also piss off other women. Like, what does that mean?
No, I think, well, my interpretation of it, I mean, I can't speak for all women, but I think there's, because of the patriarchal kind of foundations growing up, you are taught to, you know, I guess looks max in your own way. You're taught
Black
to
pill.
Yeah, literally, you're taught to kind of like be, you know, the whole thing about like wearing makeup, but you know, men love the natural look. Well, no man has ever looked at a woman wearing like no makeup and gone, "Oh yeah, I love that natural look." Like the natural makeup is still putting on a full face of makeup, but just doing minimal minimal makeup and minimal alterations. You know, having Botox and fillers and all of that stuff, that's so that it still looks natural, but it's completely unnatural. So yeah, I think anyway, if I kind of wind my life back, going back to that kind of foundational patriarchal kind of starting point that I had in life, as all women did in my lifetime anyway, I think basically it's about making sure that you balance the internalized misogyny within your own friends, your own female friends, whilst also not climbing too high, whilst also, as in like from a social hierarchy standing, but also making sure that you have a boyfriend, because like you need to show that you can like attract someone. Like I always felt really embarrassed at the fact that I was like a late bloomer or whatever, like in terms of my friends. Like all of my other friends in school had like kissed a boy by the time they were like 12 or something crazy young. And I was like, you know, 14, 15, I was like, you know, I still haven't had my first kiss or whatever. And then as soon as like, you know, boys discovered me or whatever, because I started wearing makeup and started wearing the right clothes and started being a bit more, a bit less brash and a bit more like, I'm so cutesy, like, oh look at me, like acting like other girls acted in like a weird way. I was kind of absorbing what they were doing and going, oh, I need to do that. That's when male attention started kind of like coming my way. But
and like when she mentioned the speech about like not being too pretty, so then other women will start like
that's what I was going to say. There's like an almost like competitiveness, because in the same way that you have like the 80-20 rule that you were talking about in the episode, there is definitely, through kind of patriarchal encouragement, that same mentality amongst women who exist within a patriarchal system, you know, because that's the only way to kind of ensure success. I think if there was a matriarchal approach, it would just be like, I'm really happy for you, you have a boyfriend, move on. Whereas there's like a little bit of like, oh, we both fancy the same boy, like, oh, we can't overstep. I think it's all about not being too much but just enough amongst your girlfriends. I remember shout out to my friend Paige, because my first kiss was her ex-boyfriend, one of my friends at school. It was her ex-boyfriend, and shout out to him as well, because what an awful kisser he was. Jesus Christ. I literally remember being like, why do people do that? That's so grim. It was so like tonguey and horrible.
I had the same experience with my first kiss. I didn't kiss for another like year and a half, and she came over to me, and the girl that I kissed, she was like, did I like put you off kissing or something? And I was like, no. Really, it was bad.
I feel like that was the most sensory disgrace I've ever come across. Yeah, literally. But yeah, and I remember we like proper fell out over it, naturally, because I'd completely overstepped. That was so unfair of me to do that. But because of this like idea that I had to keep up with my friends and had to find like a guy that would kiss me and a guy that would be attracted to me or whatever, I completely overstepped that like sisterhood mark, and I regret it completely because I think, I mean, it wasn't even worth it, obviously, but like I regret it completely because I was more bothered about his attention and more bothered about my value to him than my value to my friend, and that I will forever be frustrated at myself for, as like an early example, an early experience of like this competition that just kind of generates about how beautiful you are amongst your friends, you know. And there's like, I will always look back on my friendship group in school as well and be like, I literally was surrounded by like supermodels, like these girls were absolutely gorgeous, and I suppressed myself and beat myself up because I didn't look like them. So there's all of this going on, and it's just hilarious when we talk about the manosphere. All of this is going on amongst female friends, all just to make sure that we get the attention of guys. And it's like, if we didn't center men in the conversation, or boys at that age anyway, if we didn't center boys, we would be so much happier as human beings, as women. Like we'd just lift each other up, we'd just support each other and be like, yeah, your eyebrows look great today, hun, love the lip combo, like, and just get on with your day. Like we wouldn't be like, oh my god, it's his favorite color, oh, he only likes it when I wear my hair like this, you know. Like, no, like I didn't need to go through all of that turmoil as such a young person to try and achieve what was a very shit kiss, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I look at it anyway. I hope that explains it all right. But
Yeah, I think, yeah, the last segment made so much sense of like how the patriarchal system is instilled into your value. It's not even like I see the patriarchy for what it is and I'm actively against it. There are some things that are like embedded into you when it comes like competing against your friends for male attention,
it's
which is,
ridiculous. It's so
which again,
Never get old. Never be rude. Never show off. Never be selfish. Never fall down. Never fail. Never show fear. Never get out of line. It's too hard. It's too contradictory. And nobody gives you a medal or says thank you. And it turns out, in fact, that not only are you doing everything wrong, but also everything is your fault. I'm just so tired of watching myself and every single other woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us. And if all of that is also true for a doll, just representing a woman, then I don't even know.
there's
there
a
you
bit,
go.
she said something. Yeah, this bit here.
Doing everything wrong, but also everything is your fault.
So not only you're doing everything wrong, but everything is your fault.
Mm-hmm.
When you say like everything is your fault, it wasn't like you're doing everything wrong. It's like with in the manosphere, it would have been like, yes, you are inherently flawed, you're inherently worthless. Like these are things that you do to become worth it. One of the empowerment things that the manosphere employs is they say everything is your fault. And the reason they say that is because then it gives you power to then change it. It'd be like, your depression is your fault, so then you can do these things to come out of your depression. Your financial situation is your fault. The reason you can't get women is your fault. And I just found it interesting using that word specifically in this speech, and obviously explaining the other side of the coin and how on the male side it has been leveraged to kind of empower you through deep insecurity. I'm not sure if that's sort of the meaning she was going for here when she said that, but does any of that sort of resonate with you at all, where like you're doing everything wrong, but you'll still never be enough?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when it comes to things like beauty standards and like body confidence. It's like my only experience has been everything that I'm doing is never enough. And if I don't manage to meet the standard that I'm holding myself to, I had all the power in the world to make sure it happened, but I didn't try hard enough, or I didn't buy the right makeup to like make myself glow the most, or I didn't jump on this trend where like everyone's, oh my god, even just like watching makeup videos. I watch makeup videos all the time, and it's like underpainting, fucking glossy, like what was it called that I came across, like glass skin, and like there was another one, like all of these phrases and stuff. It's like you're trying to keep up with. I've got so much on. I don't need to be worrying about keeping up with like these ridiculous standards. I'm supposed to have a flat stomach but also a huge ass at the same time. I'm supposed to have like an athletic build but not too muscly because that's like too masculine. I'm supposed to be, you know, strong enough to like go and work every day, but also like as in like mentally strong enough to go and do like a day's work exactly like a man would do, but then come home and make sure that like the dog's fed and the house is tidy and the kitchen is already prepped with food, and like, you know, the food shop's been sorted and all the rest of it. I've got to do all of the mental labor, and if I don't, it's absolutely my doing. I didn't try hard enough. I didn't make enough space in the day. I didn't get up early enough, or I didn't pay attention for whatever reason. And that means that absolutely my, you know, everyone else's world is coming crashing down all because of me. And that's just in like a day-to-day sense. Like it's unreal how much judgment there is over stuff that men are equally responsible for. And I'm just kind of sick to death of everything, Jake, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I'm sick to death of that being something that we hold ourselves against. Like we beat ourselves with that stick all the time for no reason.
Yeah, it's those equal responsibilities we were talking about, like how the men wanted to separate responsibility, whereas now we're coming into a more equal society, and what becomes with equality is that the equal responsibility of like, yeah, exactly, like I would also do my day's work, but I will still cook the dinner and still clean the house. Like again, you balance that in your relationship if you in one however you see fit. But the Manosphere was super insecure about it because they don't want to do both. They'd rather just have, I just focus on this financial side and then she'll cover the rest.
It would be lovely, but then
it's both ways. Yeah,
I don't think anybody wants to do, you know, a 10-hour 12-hour day and then, you know, have to worry about any type of life admin, making sure that the, you know, the bathroom's been cleaned or the laundry's been done and put away. Like nobody wants to do that. That's a job in itself. That's why the system that we operate within doesn't work, because, you know, it's too expensive in the current economy for us to have one person at home and one person at work. And realistically, if you're not in a relationship, you can't split yourself in two. You can't be at work and home cooking and cleaning at the same time. So the world is designed for two people, but it's not, it doesn't allow for that at the same time. So
yeah, like capitalism has made it that you need dual incomes now, and to create dual incomes, you obviously need both of your partners. So, yeah, I think that's sort of my baseline thoughts of the thing. Was there anything that I missed within that, or do you think it was a cool little bonus episode for everyone?
I could just probably wang on about this for ages, but no, it's interesting. I like the fact that you've got questions about it and that you hadn't seen it before, to be fair. But go and watch the Barbie film. It is really interesting. There's a scene where Ryan Gosling walks into, I don't know if you've seen it, but he walks into like a big office building and he's like, I want a job. And like the guy's like, okay, like have you got a CV, qualifications, like what's it? And he's like, I'm a man.
Yeah.
That's it. And the guy's like, well done. What? Like, what's he got? And he's like, but I thought that would be enough. I'm a boy. And he's so like dumbfounded, like stuff like that. It is funny, but it's so bang on. Like it's a very stripped down version, obviously, of a genuine approach that we all have. But like, yeah, it's
exactly.
Really
it's using extremism to push the message behind it, you know,
completely,
like which is all storytelling for sure.
Yeah. But there you go. Join us in the next episode, I guess, part 3, where we wrap all this up. But yeah,
I'm very excited for it, guys. Thanks for watching the episode. We will catch you when we fix the patriarchy. But until then, bye bye.